So today we're going to be looking at some predictions for 2025 made by people on Hack and News. Leave your predictions below, and we'll probably come back in like a year and look at them maybe. Could be fun. Could be inside and outside of AI. Can be anything you want it to be. So leave your predictions and we'll look at some. I made a video yesterday looking at 2024 predictions. Although, so go check that out. But I recommend sort of skipping to the part that I've put in the timestamp. So let's have a look at these. I'm probably gonna avoid these two a bit later, and we're gonna start with these lists because I feel like they're easier to look at, and they're just a bit more fun. So let's see. We've got solar energy will account for around 8% of the world's energy usage. What is it now? Solar energy usage as a total of the world's energy. You know this is going to be wrong. So it's currently 4.5. I'm just going to assume this is correct, even though I know this AI overview is sometimes wrong, but you know. I think that's very feasible. That could happen. Let me know what you think. We'll see the world's first trillionaire. It could happen. Although I do think Tesla's massively overvalued, but I guess that seems irrelevant because the market doesn't really make sense. It's all sort of speculation. Yeah, well, we all know it's going to be Elon Musk. Although I remember doing the maths on like Bill Gates, because Bill Gates sold loads of shares to sort of work on the philanthropic things he's been doing. I think it'd be worth more than Elon Musk now. I think it'd be worth like 700 billion or something. Let's see. But yeah, I think it's possible this happens, but I don't know. We'll have to see. It also will be, yeah, we'll see. Bitcoin will reach 200k plus and remain largely stable around that price at the end of 2025. It's hard to predict. I think Bitcoin will reach 200k definitely. It's always a matter of when. Obviously, we often have these cycles. I wouldn't be surprised if we reach somewhere like 150k and then it sort of drops below 100k again, and then maybe in the next cycle we go up above to like 400k or something like that. So hard to say. Generative AI for music will continue to improve substantially. I have a lack of imagination, but maybe something like on-demand stream services, maybe target to niche music genres. Probably. I think the big thing is going to be sort of copyrights and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see. Generative AI for video will continue to improve substantially. This is the thing that interests me. I think this is really cool. I really like an idea, and I think someone did do it for a while on Twitch ages ago. I like the idea of a sort of continual TV show that just never stops. I think that'd be cool. And you could even have interaction from the user and sort of dictate sort of what happens to a certain degree. It would truly make interactive things. I think something that what's his name? Who played I'm trying to think of his name. The accountant. What's this guy's name? He said something. Ben Affleck. I don't know how I forgot his name, but he said something about, you know, you'll be able to have like your favorite. You'll be able to train AIs on, say, your favorite TV shows and make custom special episodes from that. And what he was saying, which I think was smart, was that it wasn't necessarily going to sort of replace IP and replace the industry, but it will give people an ability to sort of interact with their content more that is still produced by people. I really like that idea. So, you know, you could have your favorite episode of whatever, you know, Rick and Morty or Game of Thrones. I can't think of any shows. and then just have your own special episodes generated for you. The best I can come up with, there will be a breakout indie film or music video that's produced. I also think it's I did have something. Hang on, actually. So I've got so many tabs open, so many different. Let's see. I think there's this thing called TCLTV, and I think they make AI generated films. Well, I think they're currently trailers. I was going to look at them in another video. I think they've got this YouTube channel as well that I can link below. But I think I was trying to understand. I think these are all AI generated. I think they still have writers. So this is one I watched. So I think there's still people involved, but I think scene by scene is generated by AI. So there's definitely an increase in this. LLMs will, and I think it's quite cool, the idea of producing each scene with AI. It really will allow anyone to make a film. It'll be interesting. As long as it's not trash, who cares, right? If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. So I'm not against this, necessarily. Let's see. LLMs will continue to improve substantially. Yes. We already know that. ChatGPT's next one, I think they're investing like 100 billion or something into the training. Pretty crazy. LLMs and other generative AI tasks will continue to become more and more accessible. Possibly. Yeah, I mean, I think this is already happening. Why do you need your own machine? Do you know what I mean? You don't need your own machine. Everything will just be done on the cloud, in quotation marks, really. Unless you're building hardware yourself or working with hardware. The cost of robots and other robotics will substantially drop. Yeah, I think I can see that happening. I've got such a dry cough right now. When you say bipedal, I should know this. I'm guessing it's just something with like a humanoid, 2 legs. Yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting what happens with that space. Like, I can't see the reason. Are we going to have them deliver? I don't know. I'm just trying to think what will happen with this. Is this just for warfare? Is there a reason to have these for other reasons? I'm not sure. Twitter and Facebook will still be around. Yeah, that's not really. I think of course they will be. Blue Sky will be more. Will be no more. I don't know. I mean, I scroll through Reddit and it seems a lot of people have left Twitter for Blue Sky. Mastodon will continue to be niche. I think that's correct. It does feel like there's a bit of split at the moment between Twitter and Blue Sky. All the above will be used by people. I think Blue Sky is a weird one. First, I'm going to say I've not got either. Well, I did have a Twitter account ages ago, but I've not really logged in like probably 3 years. I don't know if it's been deleted. I remember when Elon bought Twitter, he was like, oh, I'm going to delete everything, but I'm pretty sure my Twitter account still exists, so I don't really think that's true. But what I've seen from the subreddit for Blue Sky is that just blocking people seems to be like a really big thing. And I don't like the sort of philosophy of a lot of these people. Look, I think you should be able to block whoever you want. You know, if you're being harassed, whatever, you should have the power to block. But this seems to be like a preemptive thing they're doing. People are generating these massive lists of people to block if they don't like. And the other problem I have is I don't like how the blocking works. The blocking works, from my understanding, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, is that if I block you, and I might have just blocked you because someone put you on some list, and I've decided to add that whole list to people to block, you can't see what I'm doing. I disagree with that. I don't think it should work that way. I think they shouldn't be able to interact with you. You know, that's fine. Maybe shadow block them, something like that. But I think they should still be able to see your content. Because basically what happened was, I saw this thing, someone was following I think a creator from one of the Star Trek creators or something like that, and they were like, I can't see any of their stuff because they've blocked me. But I haven't done anything. They hadn't done anything, and people are like, oh yeah, you just have to live with it. You're probably on a list, and someone mass blocked you, and it's just like, well, you should still be able to see their stuff. Anyway, I'm sort of going off topic and rambling, but I don't really like that. I don't like how that works. I think, I should be able to block you, but you can still see my stuff, if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this topic, of course. I'd have to think about it more, but that was my initial gut reaction. Um, I don't really like loads of blocking, or even on Reddit, you hear stories of people just getting blocked from subreddits just for commenting on other subreddits. I'm not a fan of any of that stuff, if I'm really honest. So all the above will be used by people to invent and discover weird, wonderful, horrible things. Yep, I think that's true. Yep, so what will cause your blue sky death? About 6 months ago, I would probably have backed a prediction of will remain niche. Yeah, I don't know if this is like the whole blue sky thing. I don't know if this is just in my head and being sort of amplified by just being on Reddit, but it does feel like there's a lot of people, like a lot of the sort of left, if you will, have gone to blue sky. Let's see. I guess I would call it the American left. Uh, I'm not sure how many non. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it, let's be honest. Okay, we've got another list. And I'm trying to avoid anything which is just like one comment because it seems to just waste a bit of time. So, we've got this comment from a few days ago. So, one real life image and video. Wait, hang on. On real life image and video intelligence, so I think Google will take the lead here as they just have a monopoly on data set. I'm surprised that, I know growing up, or like 10 years ago, I just thought there's no way anything comes along that will be better than sort of Google in this space. And then sort of ChatGPT happened, which we all know was just significantly better. But I can predict, I get what they're saying, and I sort of agree. Like, Google have so much data that no one should be able to compete with them. At least on stuff for images and video. Although I guess if it's all on the internet, everything can just be scraped. I know there's a lot of lawsuits right now on how people are getting data, I think. So, yeah, we'll see. I guess Facebook as well, Meta. But I think Meta fell behind a bit. I think they sort of I think they've sort of caught up by making everything open source, but I think they fell behind a bit by focusing on everything, on different things like AR and VR and stuff, and they spent, I think they've invested sort of 10, 15 billion in the last few years in that space, and now they're sort of catching up in AI. So yeah, Google and Facebook you'd expect to have the most sort of data. So on proprietary general intelligence, AI, I think OpenAI and Anthropic will keep their lead. I still need to use Anthropic. I've not used them. I did create an account the other day, but I've not used them. While on open source, Mark Zuckerberg will be continuously leveling the playing field. Yeah. You know, a lot of people I feel like I've said this in other videos, a lot of people dislike Zuckerberg, maybe rightfully so, and dislike maybe Facebook and Meta and whatnot. But the one thing that's undeniable is that Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call them, have always been massive on open source, you know? They have their product, they have their services, but all the tools they create for that are generally open source. I'm sure they have a few internal things, but generally, I did a video the other day on open source projects from like Google, Facebook, and all of these companies, and it's not even close. Meta has way more open source software than any other company, from what I can gather. So something to keep an eye on is China. Have you guys seen their recent open source models? Very impressive looking at it. I've had stuff pop up, so it wouldn't surprise me. Personally, I've not worked with them, these models, but I've seen them sort of on GitHub, and maybe I should try them out. I think they're doing quite well. I have a lack of imagination, but maybe something like on-demand streaming services, maybe targeted to niche music genres. Oh, okay. I think this was a. Oh yeah, this was actually a reply. Okay, so this is I didn't realize this, but this is so this specific these next few comments are replies to specific points. God damn it, that would be interesting. It's great to get lots of micro communities offering better content than Netflix, Disney. Yep, I think this would be cool. I wonder how much of the industry will transition into pure prompting too. Back then we used manual instruments and talented voice actors for voice. These days you could possibly produce some results if you're skilled enough to precisely describe it with the AI you're directing with. You could even have an AI to be specifically good at improving your prompts, understanding what it is you're trying to do. Although I guess that's sort of a middleman, I guess that could be incorporated into the software itself to really understand what it is you're doing. Or maybe you have something separate which is good at understanding what you want and writing a better prompt for you. Like I said, I think the idea of a constant video is really cool. I like that. Something that just goes on indefinitely. The cost of robots and other robotics will drop. Huge bet on this too. The brains are getting better. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is inevitable, right? Unless there's big chip warfare, which, there is a possibility of this, that, chips are just going to get way more expensive. Right, so this is a new one. So, one or a few of the Fangamanga-ish leaders. Yeah, I guess Fangamanga it used to be Facebook. Now it's Meta, so Fangamanga. Leaders will retire or forced to by the board, and the new leader will be from within, likely Tim Cook for age reasons, but could be equally Sundar Pichai. I mean, they could retire. They have enough. It depends how motivated they are. It's not like they need jobs, is it? So it really depends on what they want from their lives, really. I've not been keeping up with Google too much. Sometimes I think I've heard some scrutiny from Sundar Pichai, potentially, but I've not heard anything about Tim Cook. So I can't see him getting forced to retire. Let's see. For non-coding tasks, will likely fizzle out as expensive talking fidget spinners and not the world saviors that the companies behind them envision them to be. AI will go back to being fun and exciting again and not the delight of both Wall Street and Shoeshine Boy. I don't know if I agree with that. I think they will just get better and they'll become invisible and you won't realize people are using them anymore, but they'll still be using them for their blogs and sometimes yeah, so I mean, I know people just use them for emails all the time, so this definitely, I completely disagree with this. Cloud egress costs. This will be like electricity. It will just become invisible. Everyone will still use them. That's my theory. Prediction. Cloud egress costs. See, I feel like I should know what egress is, but I don't. Egress costs. Oh, hidden costs. I hate hidden costs. That's the one thing that puts me off of anything. Hate it. I like transparency. Honestly, I will use your service. It's not about the money. It's understanding what it will cost me. When I go on your website and I have to work out what it's going to cost me, you've already lost me. Like, it's just that simple. I want to know exactly what I'm going to be paying. So yeah, I hate stuff like this. Apple or someone like Apple will take advantage of cratering storage compute costs by moving things off cloud to a locally owned box, that is a cloud, that pairs with a new dumb client thin phone, backups, massive storage. This is just like the box, Silicon Valley. There you go. You want the Pied Piper box? I mean, I'm not being funny. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm possibly being stupid. But off cloud to locally owned box. That is cloud. Unless they're saying with a new dumb a locally owned box with a client. Also accessible via reverse proxy from or VPN from anywhere. Can someone explain to me what they mean? I'm being dumb. To me, that is what cloud is, right? It's just a local computer that people can access. A combo of ABO, Roomba ring-like device that goes out or rolls around your house and things for you. Kind of real life flubber. I've heard of Roomba. I've not heard of ABO. Oh, okay. Ring-like device that goes about or rolls around your house, does things for you. Selling users' data goes out of fashion. Google, Meta, new companies use privacy as a competitive advantage. Yep, I can see that. That might already be happening. I have no idea. Finally, games. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Google or Meta already don't sell data, but just buy data. If you look at Google's acquisitions and Meta's acquisitions over the years, it's just they're buying data streams, not companies. They're buying unique data streams that can be useful to them. I don't know, maybe they do sell data. I didn't think they did. Uh, Finally, games actually have AI that doesn't suck. This is what I'm excited about. Man, I love Civ, or have in the past. Recently, I'm more of an Anno fan. But the thing with Civ is the AI is just bad. And I know this year that the developers, and I love their games still, but it's like once you're ahead, that's it. The AI is not going to catch you because the AI is usually more bonuses rather than intelligence. So once you catch up, you pretty much win. I really like this idea of better AI. I think what's going to be tricky is having an AI where you control exactly how smart it is. That would be interesting. Like, how do you, you know, I'm not saying IQ is the best measure in the world. Maybe it is. But can you give your CPU player 100 IQ, 120 IQ, 150 IQ, 180, whatever it is you want to do? Maybe that's the wrong way to think about it. But I think controlling difficulty will still be a challenge. Because it's like your AI will just be good. So how people are going to have to make their AIs purposely worse if they are actually good at playing these games. Okay. Yeah, this person, so this is a response. 100% wrong. LM's widely useful in daily life, even cheaper medals, for real. Yeah, so everyone agrees with me with that. So that's a response. I don't care about that. Let's just keep going. Dopamine management medication. Sounds like antidepressants will lead to a renaissance of human ingenuity and scientific discoveries, and a big crash for social media and gambling sites. Interesting. I find this hard to believe. I actually think even with AI, we'll just be able to discover more and more science at an increasing rate eventually. Probably not quite. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I wouldn't be. This is like a cultural thing, right? I think culture can always shift. Society can always shift culturally, and people will just. I'm not saying they'll go off of social media, but people might get sick of gambling. Who knows? So, 90% confidence level. Hottest weather in recorded history. That seems likely, honestly. Extreme weather in many places not seen before. Also seems very likely. No one is prepared for this commonplace outlier, globally common, locally outlier, huge insurance payout, but most not fulfilled. CL. What's CL? See, I just think of Champions League, and it's obviously not. Oh, confidence level. Okay, 90% confidence level. Top search engine results, completely inundated by LLM text. We, none the wiser. Agreed. SEO solved. Search engine switches to new algorithm based on LLM. Just like search engines became pretty bad recently, I prefer using other things now. AI will use that has access to physics simulator. Yeah, I like the idea. Yeah, AI with tool use that has access to physics simulator and CAD software. I think this is already happening. And this also. I really like this idea of sort of a fully closed loop of like CAD software, AI. Sorry for just saying AI. I know that's very meaningless. 3D printer, AI, and then like some task this like a physical thing has to do, and then sort of using feedback loop with real-time data to improve the designs. Like I don't exactly know what I'm talking about. It just sounds cool. So yeah. So like a fully closed feedback loop of like 3D printers and some machine performing some activity and basically printing better parts and upgrades. Upgrades, baby, upgrades. Upgrades people. It's upgrades people, isn't it? I spelled people wrong. Upgrades people. What a film. I had that game on PS2 as well. 40% confidence. Wait, $1 million prompt run or $1 million math prize? I don't know what they mean. 40%. AI successfully held back invasive species encroachment with lessons from AI war machines. Cheap AI nose sniffs out many common diseases. It's interesting. I mean, I guess when you say nose sniffs, it's just detecting chemicals, right? That's what your nose does. And then there's signals in your brain. So, yeah. I've never really thought about an artificial nose, but I guess that's what it is, just detecting trace sort of particles. Not next year. 10%. Cost of renewable electricity in a remote area becomes cheap enough to pull oxygen from the air or electrolysis from water to be sold as commodity. Okay. Is that in line? No. I don't care too much about the responses. I just want to see the predictions. Automakers will decide that putting 6 headlights on pickup trucks is no longer competitive. Consequently, they will innovate that they need 8 headlights. Companies will develop many specialized LLMs. Yeah, that seems like that's definitely happening. Yeah, this sentence here is really interesting to me. This will yield better results without requiring an AGI. We're already there. This is like, we don't need AGI really, because it's like having lots of vertical AIs might be a better solution than AGI anyway. You know, we might still want to work towards it. It's like in physics, having a theory of everything. I mean, I might be wrong, of course, no one knows, but solving the sort of theory of everything, physics, you know, uniting 3 forces with gravity, it probably won't change anything, right? It probably won't help. I might be wrong. Obviously, I'm completely ignorant of that, but do you need AGI basically in society to make more progress? Or do you just need loads of different intelligences doing the things that they're meant to do specifically, which will be much easier problems to solve? Like by the time we get to AGI, it might just be that an AGI is just all of these different smaller AIs stacked on top of each other, and a system above it to manage it all. So yeah. Let's see. The cost of a line of code will continue to drop. Yeah. Trade jobs will start to become what code jobs were in the noughties, very well paid. Fair warning, coders think about learning a trade like plumbing, electrician. I think, for now, this is hyperbole, most likely. But there will definitely be less jobs. I mean, that's a fact. What signals are there for this? Blah, blah, blah. Trade jobs are already well paid. Yeah. Industrial civilization will continue following along business as usual trajectory. The 1972 Limits to Growth publication. This is true. I mean, population is decreasing, so that's also an interesting thought to think about. You know, will there really be a problem with jobs when there isn't enough people? I don't know. A neighbor just got laid off from Adobe. Ran huge AI projects. Maybe they weren't very good. This seems unlikely. Like, also when he says ran huge AI projects, is are they the technical person or are they just managing people? And do they need the managers? Yeah, you don't really need. Yeah, this is sort of a point I just said. An AI might make a better manager. You know, if you have goals. Trad dev and design rules go to 0. Traditional dev and design. Yes. I think they've already. It depends what you mean by this. Have dev roles and design roles not already gone to sort of like traditional? We're already using. It depends what it means. We're still doing the same thing. You're still just trying to design things and build things which have a purpose, right? So I would say that's traditionally your job. I don't think that will change. Now let's learn all things fast with AI. Hang out on the tenderloin. I think some people are being hyperbolic because there's also governments in place. You know, legislation is generally slow, but I think this idea that there won't be jobs and everything will go crazy is just unlikely because society won't function. So people need money. If people don't have money, then people can't buy things, and then everything will collapse. A couple of days late, but it's still 2024. Here's mine. I'll go back to and check in a year. I'll try at least do 10 predictions. Let's go. Extract more crude oil than in any year in history. I can see this happening. 100%. Produce more steel, because I think Trump is big on oil, right? He doesn't like green energy. Produce more steel than in any year in history. I can see that happening too. Not produce more cement than yeah. Depends how many things China's producing. If they're building any more ghost towns. Install more solar capacity than in any year in history. Yeah, seems likely. See a US federal government funded by CRs. What's a CR? CR in government. CR continuing resolutions? I don't know. Experience power outages worldwide from a CME. CME. Futures company. See the US officially declare war on more than one country to export immigrants. I think Trump is fairly anti-war. I can't see the USA. He's more isolationist, if anything. I can't see them doing. And war's fought differently, so it depends what you mean. Like, is it going to be a formal war where there's going to be missiles and rifles? Absolutely not. Like, that's not going to happen. Is there going to be pressure and sanctions and tariffs? Yes. It's already happening. It's just a different type of warfare, you know, if you want to call it that. Economic warfare. The AMOC, measurably weaken. Yeah, I'm really uneducated. What's AMOC? Atlantic meridional overturning circulation. Okay. Weaken, causing flooding on the eastern coast of the US. Okay, I can see that happening. See me sell my first game or application. Hopefully. Good luck. See an end to the war in Ukraine. Yes, I can see that happening. Go crazy with the Steam Deck 2. Yeah, that's happening. Observe that a keyboard left unattended next to my 5-year-old will result in key mashing. Well, they got that prediction wrong because that was 2024, unless it happens again in 2025, I guess. IQ will continue to decline, driven by over-reliance on LLM. Represent... Not US accelerated inflation. Yeah, that seems short-term inevitable. I don't know what... Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk and, you know, Trump has said as much. You know, but that's what happens when you become more... It's going to be interesting. You know, they keep talking about bringing production to USA, but US citizens earn more money, so it's just going to make it more expensive unless you fully automate it. But that seems unlikely. It's going to take a long time. So yeah, I think US will accelerate global inflation in Trump's next term, most likely. But again, I don't want to pretend that I know much, if anything, about this. So take that with a grain of salt. US recession spring. Cyber attack, I can see that happening. I don't know, not major attack, but there's going to be lots of small ones probably. Let's get creative. There will be predictions for 2026 thread. Hee hee. Yep, that seems reliable based on the top. I've seen that there's been these threads every year. OpenAI announces GPT-5. That it will be the last of the GPT series. I'm not sure if that's true. I think there will be a GPT-6. Haven't they said that as much? GPT-6. I'm not sure. I thought there would be a GPT-6. I might be wrong. Apple, although it sort of doesn't really matter, does it? It's just a naming convention. Apple will sell a backpack. Magnus and Carlson will wear jeans and get disqualified or quit. That's not what that said, but that did happen, I think, the other day. Or he got fined for wearing jeans, I think, and then he decided to quit a tournament. Yeah, I really like Perplexity. I've never used Grok. Find, I've not used. Yeah, I like Perplexity at the moment, I have to admit. I don't know what this thread is regarding, but yeah, I really agree with this statement. Ruby and Rails will continue to grow in notoriety thanks to improvements in YJIT, GC, and rectifiers and re-emergence for SQLite as a production-grade tool. Long live SQLite. Gen AI tools will replace developers, quotation marks, in the same way that no-load code tools allowed anyone to make an app. I think this is a dig, in the sense that this hasn't happened at all. Or maybe they're talking about the fact that you still need the motivation. The problem with no-code tools is that they're just not fun. Like, their target audience is essentially developers that can't develop. I never like unless they become really good. I just think I'm more productive using something like ChatGPT than I think I could be using a low code tool. So yeah. These tools will be tied to specific vendors, meaning you can completely embed with AWS, OpenAI. Yeah. Consumer appetite for products using LLMs for traditional workflows. Do you know what my prediction is? And this maybe sounds stupid, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think what we'll see more with all this like AI, I feel like before we used to try and build platforms and let customers come. Now I think people will be going after customers because you can develop so quickly. People will be like, oh, I want to develop this thing for you. And then they'll try and get customers, clients, and build for them. I might be wrong. But yeah, I think there'll be more focus on trying to actively go after customers and clients. Rather than just building something. I mean, oh, I've got an idea, let's build it. Where are my clients? I think it'll be like, oh, we need clients, let's go after them and then build what they want and need and then sort of embed them into our software ecosystem. That's what I think will happen. So these are non-techie ones. Ukraine war ends, agreed. Gaza war ends. I don't know. Still no Super Bowl for the Ravens. Don't care. Russell outperforms Nasdaq. I don't know what Russell is. Is it like a Russell investment fund? What is it? It's not a fund, is it? It's going to be... I think I'm typing the wrong thing. What is Russell versus Nasdaq? Nasdaq versus Russell. What's the difference between S&P? Russell 2000 is a small cap index. The S&P focuses on large, while such companies, while that Russell... Oh, okay. So Russell basically just tracks US small caps. So yeah, I can see that. This kind of goes back to what I said a second ago, a bunch of small sort of people, companies, sort of trying to get clients and growing, and then hopefully hoping those people stay in their ecosystems. Relative stability in Syria. Yeah, I can see that happening. Inflation does not rise meaningfully. Hard to say. EU economy slows. Seems likely. Some North Korea news, lol. There's a subreddit where they just like North Korea. Unironically think it's a good country. I think it's moving to North Korea. I don't think it's satire, but Shall we keep going? More widespread use of AI. Yeah, that's not a prediction. Come on, that's not a prediction. That's basically a fact. Hybrid work models become the standard. Sure. More AR, VR. Again, it's a bit ambiguous, but I can see that increasing in a number of people's lives. I don't think it would decrease, and it probably won't stay the same. So yeah, it would probably increase. Probably not in my life. Lab-grown meat, yeah, they go more mainstream, definitely agree. Maybe not. It depends on the economy, really, and the price of these things. People will buy meat if it's cheaper. But again, it will probably still grow, Yeah, this is happening already. Big tech companies are investing in renewable energy for all of their sort of energy consumption for AI tools, which are huge. Further development of CRISPR, that's going to be interesting. True. Again, this is just something that is like a guarantee, right? Because there's people doing this. Companies will prioritize building more resilient and diversified supply chains. Definitely agree. Supply chain stuff is quite interesting. Be fun to make a game based on that. 3D printing technology. I want to get involved in this. Will continue to evolve, definitely. AI will drive even more targeted advertising, constant recommendations, yeah. Drone delivery services. It's funny, we were talking about this like 5 years ago, maybe even more. Hasn't quite happened yet, but it'll be... Although I think Amazon does do it. Correct? Does Amazon have Amazon drone delivery? Do they have the same day? So yeah, they've already got it. They've even got like a FAQ, drone delivery. Is Amazon using electric powered drones? So they're already doing this. Like they literally have an FAQ page, lol. So, robots and automated systems will come. Yeah, again, that's just what happens. They're not going to become worse. Increased use of biometrics, probably. Further integration of AI, sure. growing awareness, increased emphasis of lifelong learning and reskilling. See, that's an interesting one. That's a cultural thing, and I agree. Things are moving fast. You constantly have to know more. You can't just sort of sit still. Anyway, that is going to be it for today. I'll leave the article below and you can come check out. And don't forget to leave your own predictions below. Take care.